Now, ever since I got the Mercedes, I've gotten questions almost on a daily basis where people ask, Mike, are you going to do what happens if videos in your new car? And I've always said right off the bat, no, I'm not doing that. One, because this is my dream car, and I'm not really risking anything in this car by doing crazy experiments. Secondly, if you follow my channel, like I said, this is my dream car. You guys know how much I adore it. However, I haven't always had the best of luck. There's been tiny little issues here and there that have had to be taken care of. So me trying to deliberately mess something up with this car by doing these experiments have been something that, yeah, I haven't really been fond of doing that. And the third reason has been that I don't really want to milk this whole, you know, what happens if, you know, concept just to make videos, because honestly, I don't really think anything is going to happen in this car, because when I did them all in my Ford Fusion, I didn't know what was going to happen, but turns out the car is pretty much dummy proof. And I expect the same thing of this car because it's even newer, you know, it's a Mercedes, it's even more advanced when it comes to technical features. So for that reason, I haven't really, you know, been wanting to do them because it feels like it's kind of, you know, useless. But still, I keep getting questions all the time about doing what happens if videos in the Mercedes. So after giving it some thought, I figure, you know what the hell, let's do it anyway. And we're gonna see what happens if we put it in park while driving, put it in reverse while driving, and then also what happens if you push the button while driving. And the first one we're gonna start with is actually the park feature. And the reason we're doing that is because I already know what's gonna happen, and it's absolutely nothing. And the reason I know that is because I've actually done it by mistake while driving on the highway. Now, most new Mercedes models, they have a gear selector here on the column. It's a lever that looks pretty much just like the lever for the turn signals and the windshield wipers. And both these levers have buttons on the side. For the left lever is obviously to clean your windshield. The right lever is to put it in park. So one day while driving down the highway, I'm looking to clean my windshield wiper. I have a complete brain fart, and instead of clicking the left lever, I click the right lever. No! So I had a brief moment of complete panic when I realized what I did. What ended up happening was this. We're gonna take it out on the road, and I'm gonna demonstrate. Now, as always in these videos, we have GoPros all over the place. So we have one GoPro here on the column that's gonna monitor the instrument cluster and the information center in the middle. And we have one right there. And then of course we have this angle right here. So let's get it out on the road here, get it up to speed. It decided to start snowing again today, so traction is nowhere to be found. There we go. All right. So yeah, we're at about 60 miles an hour, and I'm gonna put it in park. Only shift to park if vehicle is stationary. So that's what happened. I mean, obviously it's really dummy proof. In my Ford, it actually tries to put it in park and you hear this parking pole grinding and stuff. In the Mercedes, absolutely nothing happens. It's even more dummy proof than my Ford Fusion and Ford F-150. So like I said, I already knew what was gonna happen in this little experiment here. But the first time I did it by mistake, I absolutely had no idea, and yes, there was some panic there, but everything ended up being okay because dummies like me have to be able to own this car without wrecking the transmission. So now for the second part, which is what happens if you put it in reverse while driving. Now, of course, I'm expecting that nothing happens, because otherwise, honestly, I mean, I'm not trying to trick anyone. I wouldn't be doing this in the Mercedes if I thought that something would actually happen. However, I've never done it. So, yeah, we're gonna try it. All right, so we're gonna get it up to speed here. All right, so we're doing about 66 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour. Put it in reverse. Oh, it puts it in neutral, figures, but the backup camera does not come on like it did in my Fusion. And it just revs. Yeah, and we can put it right back into drive, okay. All right, so that's very interesting. So in my Fusion, it actually put it in reverse, although it acted just like neutral, where you could rev the engine, but the backup camera came on in the Ford. In the Mercedes, it doesn't, because it doesn't actually put it into neutral. But you know what? We're going to try that again, because neutral is one step up on the lever. Reverse is all the way up. So maybe I just put it in neutral and not fully reverse. Let's see here. We'll try this again. Yep, it just puts it in neutral. Put it back in drive. It's probably still not healthy, so we're not doing that again. Yeah, everything still working fine. Okay, so now for the last what happens if experiment we're gonna do here in the Mercedes. It's gonna be what happens if you push the button while driving. And that was the first one I ever did on YouTube. And that was also in my Ford Fusion. The reason why I did that video was because I was always curious of what would happen if you accidentally hit the button while you were out driving. And for anyone that is new to technology in cars nowadays, the push button is basically how you start the car. Nowadays, you still get a key, but it's more like a smart key access fob. It's a proximity key where you just keep it in your pocket or your purse. You walk up to the car. There's sensors on the door handles where if you just touch it and you have the key close to you, the door will just open. You get in the car and you push the button. So now I turned it off, turned it back on. So what I was wondering was, you know, if you accidentally touch that button while you're driving down the highway, what's going to happen? Is the ignition just going to turn off? You know, the steering lock? I mean, that could be dangerous. So that's why I did the initial experiment. We all know what happened, or most of us know what happened when I did it in my Ford. If you haven't checked that video out, you can. I'll link it up here somewhere. But now we're going to see what happens in the Mercedes. Going to get back out on the road here. Of course, it's snowing even more. Get up to some speed. All right, and we're just going to push it. Yep, just like the Ford, nothing happens when you just push the button. But just like we did in the Fusion, we're going to hold it in. Oh, it turned everything off. It's in neutral. Nothing happens when I hit the gas pedal. Oh, and it started back up. Huh. So that's very interesting. The Mercedes acts just like my Ford Fusion does. Because when I did that video, I got a lot of comments where people were talking about their brand of car and that nothing happens whatsoever. Whether you hold the button in, whether you push it 3 times real quick, the ignition will never turn off while you're driving. So I find it kind of fascinating that my Mercedes acts just like my Ford does when it comes to pushing the button. Let's see if it turns off when you hit the button 3 times real quick. Yeah, nothing. You have to hold it in. Yep, for about 3 seconds. Now it's in neutral. It's completely dead. It's just rolling. Start it back up without putting your foot on the brake. Yep. Put it back into drive. Huh. Even though I mean, to 99.9%, I was not expecting anything to like go wrong when I did this video, because otherwise I wouldn't have been doing it. I'm just being 100% honest. I'm not really trying to create this super mega viral video here. I know that it's not going to go viral because it's not as, you know, that whole element of surprise is kind of gone with, you know, these top modern cars. It's still kind of scary to do it though. I mean, this is, you know, my baby. So there we have it. I hope this has satisfied some of your curiosity regarding the Mercedes. I think that this video will mainly interest my subscribers. I don't know how much it'll spread, but you are the guys that have been asking for this video. So here you have it. The only thing that we haven't done is, you know, throwing the key out the window. I did that video as well. It is snowy and crappy here. I wasn't planning on doing that, but if you guys want to see that as well, I'll make a video about that if I get you know, a lot of requests of that. If it's just, you know, 10, 20 people here and there, I'm not going to do it. But because, you know, again, I don't want to be repetitive. I don't want to be milking a concept. I plan on doing real what happens if videos here pretty soon in a crappy ass car to see what actually happens in an old car that doesn't have all these modern, you know, dummy-proof features in the transmission, you know, in the ignition and all kinds of stuff. I think it'll be pretty interesting, but there's a lot of stuff involved in that. You know, it has to be safe and stuff. So yeah, I'm working on it though, just know. I do hope you guys enjoy the content. Give it a thumbs up if you did, because that actually does help. I hate asking for stuff like that, but it does help. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're stopping by for the first time and you haven't already and you like what you see, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye.